Hello, welcome to the One Life Church devotional series where we cover the entire Bible in 20 months. Well, today's chapters are Ezekiel 26 and 27. Now, I'm on a road trip between Johannesburg and Pietermaritzburg, and this is a famous pit stop along the way. And interestingly enough, 30-something years ago, it's where I first was exposed to how business works. One of my cousins owned this place, and I used to come and work here as a university student and saw how business operated. Now, the prophecy today is about business. It's about a thriving business, actually. And so Ezekiel voted 4 messages in this book to the capital of Phoenicia. Now, this was a major economic powerhouse. And during the reigns of David and Solomon, both of them were friends with King Hiram, who was the king of Phoenicia. And so it has a long history with Judah and Jerusalem. And Tyre was situated partly on the Mediterranean, and then partly the city also had an island a part of it, which was in the Mediterranean. So the imagery that Ezekiel uses here is that of a sailing ship, saying it's the most splendid of sailing ships. So he describes its majestic sails and its oars and how it traded and the people that came and did business with it and all the nations of the world that wanted to be Tyre's friend. And he paints this magnificent picture. But he brings a judgment against it. He says, listen, God is going to bring you down. And the reason is you've been gloating over the demise of Israel. This is what he says here. In the 11th month of the 12th year, the Lord came to me, Son of man, because Tyre has said of Jerusalem, aha, the gate to the nations is broken. And there's this gloating over Israel. He says, there is going to be destruction to you. Basically, the sinking of this great ship. And so he describes in great detail how the ship is sunk, pretty much like the impenetrable, indomitable Titanic thought it was cruising on without fear of foe, and it crashes to the bottom of the sea. Now, this is quite a famous chapter, and I discovered while I was researching about Tyre that when Queen Victoria celebrated her Diamond Jubilee in 1897, and the British Empire was at its zenith, at its height, and the Brits thought that they were ruling the world, Rudyard Kipling, that famous poet, put together this little poem really as a sober warning that, money can't hold us together. Economic power is fleeting. This is what he says. For coal, our knaves melt away, on dune and headline sinks with fire. Lo, all our pomp of yesterday, one with Nineveh and Tyre. Judge of the nations, spare us yet, lest we forget, lest we forget. Forget what? He's basically saying to the Queen, as Britain sits upon the world, don't forget what happened to Tyre. Tyre came crashing down in her pomp and her arrogance and her pride. She came tumbling down, and it could happen to anyone. And so basically the message, as you read this very poetic, very descriptive imagery of this magnificent sailing ship that's going to be brought to the depths of the ocean, it really is a sober warning for those who are relying on their own strength, their own fortitude, and their own economic power. So God bless you.